outhousepatrol.com, in conjunction with the historic Windsor Hotel and the Heritage Center of Boulder, Montana, presents a narrated drone's eye tour of Comet, one of Montana's better preserved ghost towns. The earliest recorded mining activity in this area, 1869, when John W. Russell located a mining claim. He had a patent on this property called the Comet Lode by 1874. The drone will lift off from in front of the 1920s assay office located on Glick Street and fly over the massive structure of the 200-ton mill built by the Basin Montana Tunnel Company around 1926. Comet is located about 5 miles northwest of Boulder and sits on the banks of High Creek. outhousepatrol.com has done extensive business license research on Montana Territory records covering the years 1867 through 1888. We have researched 5 of Montana's original 9 counties. The research reveals the names of saloon keepers, merchants, and other business owners in Comet through the year 1888. We have done extensive research in Old Deer Lodge County, Jefferson, Madison, and Gallatin as well. Matthew Jones posted the original drone tour on YouTube July 24th of 2014, and our thanks goes out to Matthew for this great video. The Alta Montana Company bought the claim from Mr. Russell in 1874, and they also owned the Alta mine in Wicks. They put up about $500,000 in the Comet, built a 40-ton per day concentrator, a hoisting and loading facility with 2 small engines, a blacksmith shop, a bunkhouse, and a foreman's office. This concentrator was not very efficient, and the tailings were worked later on, and another $1,400,000 in gold and silver were recovered. Walter DeLacy surveyed and platted the town of Comet on a hillside west of High Creek. This consisted of 12 blocks with 10 narrow lots per block. The 3 east-west streets were named Glick, Main, and High. The north-south streets were Russell, after the first miner, Salisbury, who was a director of the Alta Montana Company, and DeLacy for the surveyor. The Comet Post Office, again, opened in 1877. John W. Russell was the postmaster, and the book Names on the Face of Montana states that the post office opened and closed 4 times between 1877 and 1894. Leeson's History of Montana, published in 1885, says that J.T. Parkinson is the postmaster. In 1917, an application was made to reopen, but Nora Quinlan declined the appointment of postmaster, and it never opened. It was robbed reportedly once and maybe twice. Crossing over High Creek, a couple of 1870s or 1880s era cabins just ahead. Crossing Glick Street and just ahead, the Daly Hotel had a boarding house off to the left, long since collapsed. We will overfly the roof, or what is left of the roof of the Daly Hotel. In 1880, Comet and Wicks had a combined population of about 300. During that year, the mines failed to make a profit due to the high shipping costs. Equipment, building materials, and even food, very expensive. The shaft at the Comet mine was 500 feet deep and had 5 levels. The vein varied from 5 to 30 feet in width. At the second level, Mr. Wicks, the engineer, found the body of pure white lime that was used as a flux in the Wicks smelter. The Comet was producing about 300 tons of concentrates per month, which averaged about $60 per ton. In 1883, a line of the Northern Pacific Railroad connected Wicks to Helena. The railroad arrived at Wicks in December of 1883. Then a tunnel was dug through the mountain to Amazon, then passing the mouth of High Creek about 5 miles from Comet. In 1884, $20,000 was spent to build an aerial tramway to carry concentrates to the smelter at Wicks. This tramway carried 300 pounds of concentrates per bucket. In the 1880s, another $200,000 was invested in equipment and improvements, including more efficient equipment and ore loading chutes and track to deliver ore from the mines. The company also installed new hoists and water pumps to reduce the mine's firewood use. During the silver panic of 1893, the mines were closed only briefly. And the following depression, it continued to be profitable during the years of the early 1900s. In 1906, the Cataract Copper Mining Company purchased the mine and then sold it to Montana Consolidated Copper Company in 1907. By 1911, the value of the gold, silver, lead, zinc, and copper taken out totaled about $13 million. Most of the precious metal had been extracted by 1900, but it was still valuable for the deposits of lead, zinc, and iron. A total of about $420 million was taken out before it closed. But by 1913, Comet was described as a deserted town. In 1926, the Basin Montana Tunnel Company purchased the mine and built that 200-ton flotation mill or concentrator. At the time, it was considered the most modern in Montana. They also processed ore from the Gray Eagle mine and other mines in the area. It was the only custom milling plant in Montana except for the Anaconda Copper Companies in Anaconda. The Gray Eagle mine near Comet produced about $2 million in ore from 1898 until the 1940s. During the Depression, the mine employed 50 men at an average wage of $5 per day. About 200 people lived in or near the town, with about 20 students in the school. Comet was reported to be the largest mining venture in Montana outside of Butte. However, on St. Patrick's Day, 1941, the mining stopped and the town was abandoned. Close-up of one of the early homes at Comet. The Outhouse Patrol Mini Traco toward the rear of the building, which was standing when we arrived in April, but by July, that front corner had collapsed due to heavy snow over the winter. And a drone's eye view of the collapsed building. This has been about a 13-minute tour of the ghost town of Comet with a little history thrown in. And thanks for flying, outhousepatrol.com.